Well, the basketball offseason is in full swing, and Indiana seems to be doing a fairly good job of replenishing their team off of what was a well, Burke. I'll let you describe of last year here in a little bit, so you can let us know the proper way to put how last season went. But
Yeah.
first, let me introduce you, Burke. He's coming on the Big Ten show. He's an Indiana expert. He is the reason we have the logo we have. So
Expert is a wild term, but yeah, I'm a huge fan of this program.
He's a big fan
Yep.
slash expert. We'll
Yep.
give you that. We'll give you that.
Yeah.
All right. You're
Thank
going
you.
to teach us a lot today. So, Burke, do you want to tell the people where they can find you and, kind of what you got going on?
Yeah, Burke White. I'm the host of the Often Daunted podcast. That is a play on the fight song of Indiana, Never Daunted, We Cannot Falter. Quite frankly, this program has been down since, the glory days. So it can feel quite daunting at times. But you can follow me across all socials at Often Daunted. And yeah, you can find me there. I release a off-season episode every Monday. Just there has been a lot to talk about in regards to the Indiana Hoosiers, and I just cannot thank Mike Woodson and company enough that is the case.
Yep. All right. And then Sonny Verma, my co-host, as you all know, from the Illini cast. And Sonny, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I hope whoever's tuned in is excited because it's the off season for both football and basketball, and we are talking to a Nebraska fan and an Indiana fan. So, like the off season champions of
right.
both sports.
Hey.
That's
right. A lot of excitement on this show.
It's so funny you say that in Indiana. So there might be some Indiana fans who get mad at me for saying this, but I have always thought that Indiana basketball and Nebraska football, they have a lot of the same going on. Yep. A lot of the same frustrations going on.
And it's not just a color scheme.
Yeah, it's a kindred misery going on there. Yep. And hey, glad to see that we put the people in charge to make the moves to, dig ourselves out of this.
Yep. Same, like he said, we're in the same situation. We got the guy to dig us out of it. Y'all got the guy to dig you out of it.
Yep, there we go.
Sonny,
TBD.
Sonny just focuses on basketball. He doesn't want to talk about the Bielema. No. So, all right, well, we'll get into it. So just recapping last year before we go into it. First off, Mike Woodson, of course, is being retained for his fourth season last year, coming off of a 19-14 season, 10-10 in the Big Ten, 6th in the Big Ten overall. Just the defense really, 74 points per game, putting them at 223rd in the country, and then 72.3 points per game, 215th. So all bad there. Strength of record was 18th, so there's a little bit there. Strength of schedule overall 84th. So, just putting a bow on last season. Overall, what was your take? What went wrong, and what things did they need to fix this offseason?
There plenty went wrong, but there were some things that went right, like Mackenzie and Baco putting it together down the way he did. We needed every bit of that, and just Kalel Ware being able to make a big man again, like really stand out in the Big Ten. Just that does wonders for a program like altogether. But it was the pain of the backcourt, man. The backcourt. All the frustrations of the backcourt were just a virus that trickled down throughout the entire everything that was going on. It was just a lack of production there, and it was us putting all the eggs in the Xavier Johnson basket. It was us being like, there's nothing that needs addressed in this prior transfer portal because we have Xavier Johnson and Trey Galloway. And you know what? 2 years prior to last season, a backcourt of Xavier Johnson and Trey Galloway statistically would be one of the more dominant 1-2s in the conference because like 2 years ago, they were just that. Mm-hmm. Those guys were relentless on the defensive end. Yep. I don't know what happened. It was after the injury, like X's injuries have, but it's like, thankfully it looks like the staff has learned from that kind of stuff. And we know that, hey, if that injury happens, we need a guy regardless. Even if it makes the guy that's currently there a little uncomfortable, we need to be protected.
For sure.
And it's as just talented as this Indiana front court was the entire season, the just lack of anything production wise from the backcourt was disheartening to watch time and time again. And I'm just so glad that the season overall lit the fires under the right asses, and it looks like Indiana is a unit next year. So I'm just so appreciative.
And I hear the pain in your voice, and I understand.
Oh yeah, dude, it was a season. It was a season, but there was plenty of good. Like the Malik Renew breakout, he really put his name out there. Like he's going to have a lot of recognition heading into next season. He deserves it. He deserves it. All the Indiana fans knew that was coming. And then just what I was most impressed about was the way this season ended. You know, we wish it could have been better, but the way that Indiana was able to lock the guys down right away. Like the most important thing about this whole transfer portal era is keeping the guys you want to keep. And the way that he went out and got Malik Renew to commit, like very visibly, that was after Trey Galloway said he was coming back. The way that Mackenzie Mbako, there was no question if he was like going to the draft. He said, I'm coming back, which is that one was shocking to me.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, to your point about like one of the more underrated things that people don't understand in the transfer portal, in the modern age of the transfer portal, is like retaining your team is the most important part of that, right? And so like not enough people that's your own transfer portal, is trying to keep those guys on your team. And a lot of people don't take that into account, just how much of a focus that should be. And they put all of their eggs in the transfer portal basket. So, you know, Matt Rule had said it, and Sonny, don't laugh because I'm bringing up Matt Rule, but that's what he said. It's we have our own transfer portal, and people don't take into account the talent sometimes that stays on the team. They're only looking at the portal rankings, et cetera. But when it's a bad team, there's still talent on that. I don't want to say bad team, but there's still talent to be had, as much as people can dismiss that. So
no, and to that's why I have so much faith in what the moves they're making right now, because we do have those guys returning in a way that we didn't the prior year.
Yeah.
With Trace gone, it was that. Guess what? We ran everything through Trace. Here's the Big Ten secret about Indiana: everything ran through Trace Jackson Davis that season.
Yep.
And just having him gone, it was just, we needed to find these program guys, and it looks like Trey Galloway can be that for us this year. Malik Renew can be that for us this year. And just the manner in which it was, how fast that he recommitted to Indiana, I truly believe Mackenzie Mbako can be that for Indiana this year.
Now, I mean, I've worked with Burke on a couple projects now, and Burke, I think you'll agree with me when I say that the last time you and I spoke on an episode of Illini Cast, your mood wasn't quite this peppy.
No, man. No, because
it was literally right after 5-star Liam McNeely had decommitted.
Oh my God, I forgot that was the last time we talked.
That was the last time you and I talked.
A lot has changed. A lot has changed.
Exactly right. I mean, at that point, you know, people were questioning whether Mike Woodson would be retained. People were, you know, kind of jumping on Indiana basketball, and how you were reaching the lows of lows at that point. And now we're here, what, a month and a half later, and you are completely at the other end of the spectrum.
I am laughing at the idea that I thought a freshman, you know, 5-star recruit, we were going to build around him, and it was going to be, he's going to take 80% of our shots. I can't believe that I thought that. I can't believe I thought that. And then I look at Liam McNeely, and did you see the latest on threes? Did you see that Bryson Tucker jumped Liam McNeely in just the most recent one? So the fact that, I mean, it's so crazy, the moves that we've made, that if you look at this roster, we need Trey Galloway 1 or 2 off the bench. Like, that's just his due. He deserves that. He's not coming as the 8th or 9th man. Liam McNeely is the 7th or 8th man on this team right now.
So let's kind of talk about that, though. What happened from that point to here? Because you know, speaking as, you know, a rival, you know, being an Illinois fan, to me it looked like, I mean, Indiana Hoosier basketball, you're talking about one of the premier historic teams in the conference, in the country, whatever you want to define it as. And there's a lot of love for that basketball program there. And from my perspective, it just looked like a lot of these Hoosier alum donors were like, listen, enough. We're going to tell us what we need. tell us where to sign the paychecks, because Indiana's throwing that money around from everything I've been hearing, and good for you guys. But I mean, in detail, maybe you can probably describe better what happened from, our last show to where we're at right now, talking about this.
Well, a lot of people felt the way I did after that Liam McNeely decommit. Like it was, guess what? We are, flipping every war chest we have. We're shaking it loose. And then, we're going to find the next one, do the same to that. It is, everybody is coming together because Indiana's team can't have another season like that. And maybe that's conceited of us to think, but with how much we invest in this, it's fair. It's fair. Objectively, how much Indiana fans invest into basketball, it is fair to expect more than we got. And thank Christ that they are using all the tools that come with all that investment from a just monstrous, rabid fan base. And they're getting us the best damn roster. This is the most comfortable I've been in our depth since maybe Will Sheehy was coming off the bench. And that says something. This is, I'm so pumped for next season because it took that down year to light all the necessary fires. And I'm hoping that they see this reap the rewards necessary to keep this going and have this be our offseason trend.
I guess to follow up on that though, would you say it's a combination of the down year you guys had and your arch rivals playing in the national championship, and having a couple successful years in a row now? I mean, at some point that's got to be bugging the heck out of you guys. And you think at this point, man, enough?
Yeah. It's Indiana. So as far as Big Ten schools go, maybe Michigan and Michigan State, but to a lesser extent, because Michigan is a transplant school, they're getting the smartest kids around the country. Indiana fans live, work, do everything with Purdue fans. So watching your team be miserable and then watching Jerry down the hall, pop bottles in celebration of Purdue. Yeah, dude, it sucks. And I just need all this to work out. And I love that there is the juxtaposition in the way the two programs are doing it. Purdue's going to stick to their guns, even to a detrimental level with this whole scholarship situation on their hands. And Indiana, we're going to play the game because we have the necessary resources to win a game like that. So it's going to be interesting. And I'm so happy that it looks like it's going to set up for a nice rivalry this season.
Yeah, and just you mentioned On3 earlier, so we'll just transition over to the portal, the transfer portal. So overall, transfers in 4, transfers out 3, but the transfer in rating 87.5, the transfer out rating 64.67. Now I won't go over the names. I'm just going to let you tell me your overarching thoughts on this portal class and what each player brings that can help build off of last year.
All right. Well, you want me to just go through the list?
Yeah. Well, I got Omar Ballo. So we'll start with Omar Ballo. Sorry. I'm going to go from highest ranked to lowest ranked. Yeah. So we'll start with him from Arizona center, 6'10", didn't get a redshirt senior. So, but just a big body, big frame guy who knows how to bully and use his weight and use his body effectively. Number 2, according to 24/7 overall, number 3, according to On3. So what is your, overall take on him and what does he bring to this team?
You said it. He is a bully. He brings a bully attitude. I watched this kid in Vegas, I believe, when they matched up with Indiana 2 seasons prior, and he got 5 offensive rebounds against Trace Jackson Davis. That's a tough kid that I want on this team.
Yeah.
He's an automatic double-double. Sure, it is a different game than Kel'el Ware. Kel'el Ware is finesse to the max. Yeah. And it's what Umar Ballo brings, though. Whether people know it or not, if you aren't watching Malik Renew every game, he is a far more finesse player than you would realize if you're just picking a sample size of 1 or 2. His footwork is immaculate. He has such a just touch and finesse in the paint that I really think the brutal nature of Umar Ballo's game, because he's a big bruiser. That's how when he dunks, it looks violent. Yeah. And I think it's going to be a nice yin and yang situation. People are like, that's a lot of congestion down low. But I really think that Malik Renew, he's shown that he has a touch, he has skill to his game. Sure, the turnovers, we can limit those, but
yeah.
I think that we'll see him extend his shot a little, and it won't be a problem because we'll be able to take a dude with the attitude on the floor that Ballo brings any day. I don't have a problem throwing that guy into any situation.
Absolutely. And
Go
ahead. Sonny, what are your thoughts? Have you had time to go over this transfer portal class? What are your thoughts?
Well, Ballo, I know because Illinois was also kind of linked with him. But again, apparently the war chest that Burke discussed earlier, he got a significant portion of that.
Well, in case you didn't hear, Liam McNeely decommitted. So
no, I mean,
we needed everything.
I'm familiar with two of the guys that Indiana was able to get, and
we'll let you cover the last guy.
Yeah, I figured enough. But I mean, Umar is a complete beast of a player, and I think seeing the national championship last year between Klingon and Edey, you kind of see how important it is to have a big guy in the middle, to have national championship aspirations. You can be good without one. But to have, title aspirations, you kind of need that guy. And, the fact that Indiana landed him really raises what I consider like their floor for the season next year.
Yeah. And if you teach him how to flop like Edey, then you're in really good shape. So
no, see, with him, the best thing that could happen is he does a stellar job. He looks good for whatever he's going to do next. And Mike Woodson can just keep he can be deemed like the big man whisperer, like the guy who courts that, like ushers them into the next stage of their career.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which, in the day of the transfer portal and trying to get the best guys, I'm all for.
Yep. And then moving on to Carlisle from Stanford, combo guard, 6'2" freshman. What are your thoughts on him? And we can even add in Miles Rice since he's a point guard. And then I'll save Goody for Sonny. So Miles Rice and Carlisle, both 6'2". One's a combo guard, one's a point guard. What are your thoughts on those two, and what do they bring?
Revolutionary signings. That's not just an optimistic overreaction. I promise you. These guys, the big if with them and all the big reservation was everybody was like, Indiana needs to get shooting. I truly believe both these guys are destined to step up their shooting game. Miles Rice is coming off his second year of chemotherapy, like this second year off of chemotherapy. And I'm like, what might be important for shooting a repeatable long range shot, like probably leg strength, stuff like that. I feel like a second year off that would probably do wonders for that. Yeah. Probably, and then as far as Kenan Carlisle, his best shots, I saw this out there. His best shots were coming off of the, catch and pop, like receiving the ball, but he was a primary ball handler for Stanford. In the catch and pop, he shot like 40% or over. And it's like with Miles Rice, he's going to be our primary ball handler. Kenan Carlisle will be able to play off the ball and get himself open to take advantage of the higher percentage catch and pop. So I was like, we have shooters. Miles Rice is going to take a step up because that's just inevitable. That dude is built different. You beat cancer? You're tough. That is I can't relate to that. That's an inner strength. That's a brush with your own mortality that just hardens an individual. And I'm so pumped to have this guy holding down the backcourt for us. It's everything that needed to be addressed was addressed with these two guys. And everybody was still saying the shooting, but Indiana just went out and got that to just put everyone's doubts to rest.
And if there were any doubts left, they ended up getting Luke Goody from my Illini last year. And, Luke is known for his shooting. Why don't you give your thoughts and then I can give my thoughts afterwards.
Luke Goody, Fort Wayne kid, played high school ball 8 miles down the road from me right now. I'm always going to pull for a Fort Wayne kid, especially a Southside Fort Wayne kid. Southside represent over here. And he played together with Fletch. It's nice to see him get to come back and play ball in Indiana, because as ridiculous as I'm sure it sounds to everybody else, the whole it is different here thing, it is true. It is different here. And yeah, it's just awesome to see somebody come home. Even, you don't want to see him go to that black and gold. You don't. A shooter that well, you don't want to see a Homestead reunion in West Lafayette. I promise you.
No, Justin, I promise you, I'm not that sad. I'm happy for him. Luke was a guy who was really easy to cheer for. From the Illinois perspective, from the Illinois side, he just wanted a bigger role, and I don't blame him. Like, he was entering his final season, of college basketball, and Brad Underwood, if nothing else, like, he's very much a forward thinker. When we talk about transfer portal aggressiveness, I don't think anyone's been as aggressive as him over the last couple of years, and that's continued this year. And quite honestly, again, you talk to Illinois fans, nobody will say anything bad about Luke Goody. He was very good at what he did. He was like the perfect soldier, he had a couple games, in the middle of the season. Like, his defense is just not very good, but it's not his fault. He's just not very athletic. So teams kind of singled him out. And so a lot of our, let's just say, very bad numbers were kind of exploited through him when teams would kind of switch up and, down him. No, okay. Again, I just said something bad about Luke Goody, but I don't mean it in a bad way. He's a great player. Fantastic. I don't think he wasn't going to get starter minutes on Illinois, and that's what he kind of wanted. We just got another recruit, Ben Hummerkaus. We got Trey White, who we just got from Louisville, who was basically going to take Luke Goody's minutes. So Luke, in his final year, and I mean, Burke didn't mention it, but everyone knows the story. Every time Luke Goody had a good game against Indiana, the narrative was, how did Indiana let the local boy go? Both his parents went to Indiana. His uncle's Trent Green. I think his sister goes to the university right now, or some other relative goes to the university right now. So
I think his brother. Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe it was a brother. There were whispers that this could happen for a while, and especially when Luke wasn't going to get the role that he was going to go with Illinois. He was going to get with Illinois. Rumors had started, and as soon as he announced his decommitment, me and Burke were talking back and forth because I had heard the same thing. I was like, it's got to be Indiana. It just makes sense. This is this is one of the pure college stories that you kind of ask for, and even again, I may not like the Indiana program, but I'm not going to root against Luke Goody, if that makes sense. And I can't hate the story of going home, going to where you have so much family history. So it's one of those where, truthfully, Justin, and I don't mean it disrespectfully towards Luke, I'm not sad because I think we have the right pieces in place that Luke wasn't going to get the minutes he wants. And, if he can be a good piece for Indiana, good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking to that, the piece that we need out of him is exactly what he gave you guys in that Big Ten tournament run. Like how he came in and just lit it up like he did. That's exactly what we went shopping for. And yeah, thank Christ we found it. And sorry. Sorry,
Sonny. Nah. And just, let's looking forward into next season, Sonny. You said you weren't going to root against him. Are you going to root for him? That's the question.
For him? Yes.
Okay. All right.
Really?
Luke, I have nothing against Luke.
You're rooting for Indiana.
Indiana, not so much.
That's where I take the Jordan Geronimo stance. If you go in conference, hey, I'm okay with anything you do against everybody but the Hoosiers.
Yeah. For me, it's one of those.
Go 0-7 in the hall wasn't
If Luke averages 20
rough.
points a game, I'm good with it. All that fun stuff. The Hoosiers, of course, they're pretty much a direct competitor. And one of the teams that are going to be contending for the conference next year. So, of course, I hope they falter, but not because of Luke.
Yeah, I'm just giving you flack.
I don't blame you, man. Unlike this is shade to Purdue. I welcome the hate. I want you to hate me, Sonny. Justin, I want you to hate the Hoosiers, dude, because I want the Hoosiers to be whooping the Big Ten's ass, man. I don't get it.
I'm a Nebraska fan.
Hoosiers. They're my team, not yours.
I'm not going to hate you for that. I'm used to getting my ass whooped. I'm a Nebraska fan.
No, but you see what
football, that's another story.
See, what's genuine about that, Burke, though, is like you get it, whereas opposed to Purdue fans don't get it. Like Burke knows.
Dude, there are good ones. There are good ones. I want to say my brother goes to Purdue. My brother
good ones.
My brother went to Purdue. No, there are good ones. I've said this before, actually.
No way.
It's when I started at Illini Cast is when all of a sudden I saw the bad side of what the Purdue fan base is like online.
And I've seen it through Sonny, just seeing his interactions.
Yeah, right.
Twitter.
So just to go circling back on my point, like Burke understands that if he's hated, if Indiana Hoosiers are hated, it's because they're good. That a lot of people hate you because they envy you.
Give me it. That's me munching the hate.
Right. Purdue fans are like, we're so good. How can you guys hate us? Look how classy we are. Our coach is so awesome.
Because you chant IU sucks after every game. You chant IU sucks after every game. I'm not rooting for you. Sorry.
Purdue fans, please like and subscribe. Thanks.
Hey, we've done enough Purdue episodes.
Hey, we got
for more from Illinois and Indiana fans. Please like and subscribe.
Right.
I don't know if that's our target audience there.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want more Illinois fans on this channel. I got to deal with them.
Somebody
we could take more Indiana fans. Well, Indiana fans. No, I was playing. Illinois. Everybody's welcome. This is a Big Ten show.
Yes.
So moving.
Let's get them out here.
Looking forward. What do you anticipate? This team to look like next season, and what is success? What is success for this program in Mike Woodson's fourth season?
This is make or break because he has the roster that is it's a competitor. This is objectively a competitor. This should be the litmus test of competent coaches. If this roster they filled out, the depth they have, like I said, it's unprecedented since the Cody Zell, since the backcourt was Yogi Ferrell, Jordy Holes, and then Oladipo would slide over from the three every once in a while. I have that much confidence in the depth of this team, and it's make or break for the program altogether.
Yep, Sonny. Any more questions for our man Burke here before we move to conclude the show?
One more. I just wanted to say, this team is it's second weekend or bust, and honestly, we are so nuts that if they make it to that second weekend, it's gonna there are gonna be fans who are calling for Banner 6. There are, and I need to remind myself daily that I need to be reasonable with how hard it is to win the national championship. And I need to remember how hard it was for our 5 teams to win the national championship. I need to remember that. And I do love that Purdue fans did get a reminder of just how hard it is to win a national championship once, even let alone 5 times. So
I found out how hard it was to even win a tournament game. It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, man.
Ever. We're 0-8 all time.
Hey, this is the coach that is gonna do it. He is.
Sure. For sure. Sonny?
We all love Fred Hoiberg. What I'm not sure if I love, and I guess I understand your enthusiasm for your roster, Burke. I mean, you guys are very loaded. I do think there are shooting issues, spacing issues once the ball is tossed up for that jump ball and the game starts being played. But I think it's going to all come down to your head coach. And I know we kind of talked about it before. Mike Woodson, he's decent NBA head coach, and he led you guys to a tournament, decent success the first couple seasons before the bottom fell out last year. Like you said, I think right now it's going to be really a litmus test to his ability. Is he a college basketball guy? Does he have what it takes to be on the upper level of college basketball coaches? Because your guys' standards are super high, and deservedly so. And I mean, any Hoosier fan watching this episode doesn't think you're being excited enough. Whereas Justin and
Yeah.
I, we're watching you like, man, this guy can't stop smiling. And which is, again, funny because 2 months ago, I felt like I had to check in on you every couple hours. Hey, you okay? You okay, Burke?
So, yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
I think that's going to be one of the storylines, me as a rival competitor, that I'm going to kind of keep my eyes and, just on Mike Woodson. And what's the temperature with him like? What if you guys get off to a rough start? Do the pitchforks come out early? Just like Ohio State just had, with Holtman. Holtman didn't last very long because there were whispers very early in the season. So I think, obviously your roster loaded. I completely agree. NIL's not an issue for you guys. From what I've understood and what people have told me, you guys are very clearly okay being, the LA Dodgers, the New York Mets. Money's not an issue. So if money's not an issue, that's a huge feather in your guys' cap. But ultimately, you're also going to need the guy who can game plan, who can get the roster to mesh, who can build a proper roster. And I think that part, I don't know if I'm quite as confident as some of the Hoosier fans are. Is that fair?
No, that is fair because there is a large portion of the fan base who isn't quite as confident either. I am like, there's something here because Mike Woodson was able to get these guys back. Like they have a trust in him. And if they were
was it the dollar bills?
they could have taken that tag to somebody. And I'm sure Mark Pope could have found a few bucks for Mackenzie and Paco. Like that I really do. But as far as that goes, I do like that, but maybe if he's just a relationship merchant, like that could be that's what Cal was. But I have faith that Mike Woodson is going to be able to figure this out because this roster is so stacked. I feel like these guys have so much, they should be able to figure it out together. Like and speaking on just figuring it out, one thing that was so frustrating last season was waiting for the team to gel, hearing about how this team, it's going to take time. By March, this team will be rolling. We've discovered with the net, you don't have until March. Like these games right at the top matter. I'm so sick of waiting for a team to gel. If this team, as stacked as they are, isn't ready to go game one, there's going to be a problem like around Indiana. There will. I have confidence that that's not going to be the case because of last season, just how pressing an issue everything has become, man. It's all hands on deck in Bloomington across the board.
For sure. I guess the last thing we can go with, do you have a prediction of where Indiana will finish the Big Ten next year?
Oh, first place, dude. First place, of course.
Right. Basketball team first.
No, hey, I'm being – dude, I'm –
just fine. Not really. I'll give that first place.
Yeah. I'm saying I think the contenders are Indiana, Purdue. I mean, because everyone's saying that I need to say Purdue. I think that the way that everyone thinks that they're just going to be back is so disrespectful to Zach Edey. The fact that you don't feel the need to have to go out and get somebody or anything to replace everything he gave you is disrespectful to the greatest player of your program. That is so like what we did. One of the greatest players in our program left. We went out and got Kalel Ware. Yeah. Like it's
reload.
It's crazy. But hey, if they figure it out, I promise you, I'll print out a picture of this podcast and eat it if it works out because it would be stunning.
I'm a clip.
Yeah. I just don't get it. I feel like it's disrespectful to Zach, and I hate to see people disrespect Zach Edey.
Sorry, I did it earlier.
Well, hey.
only because
no, I just love being heard saying I hate to see people disrespect Zach Edey.
Sonny, what do you think? Where do you think Indiana finishes?
I think Indiana stands as good a chance as anybody right now.
The politically correct answer.
Well, no, they do. I mean, talent-wise, I don't think anyone's going to run a better.
I'm not arguing with you at all.
7 or 8 guys on the court next year. Now, they're full disclosure. Illinois isn't done yet. we still have 3 or 4 open scholarships, and we're working on, acquiring some guys. So once I see what our finalized right now, Illinois itself is a tournament team, but they're not contending for a Big Ten tournament team or title team. But if we are able to get some of the studs that are kind of being whispered about, I think we'll be right up there. I trust Brad Underwood. We've won 20 games 5 years in a row with completely different rosters every single year. So it's just he's a magician. He's a show.
Yeah, sorry to cut. I just wanted to say, yeah, Brad Underwood. I mean, you guys have so many spots available on the roster, but if there is one fan base that can be comfortable in the ability to fill those spots, it is the Illini right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just for what it's worth. Go ahead.
Sorry.
You good? Okay. No, just for what it's worth, going through the portal rankings and the teams in the Big Ten, Indiana 4th, Michigan 5th. I had to bring this up. Nebraska 7th. That rounds out the top 10. All right. Anything else before?
Hey, no, I wanted to say, dude, yeah, Nebraska. So with the rink mass injury, was that news or was that expected?
It was news to me. And I think most people
so gutted.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's tough. But
I loved Rink's game. That dude, the Dutch destroyer, that dude threw down.
And it's only going to make him better, battling through injuries, kind of like you mentioned earlier. And in a lesser extent, it does teach you a lot of mental toughness because, I've ruptured my bicep twice. And like when you're put down out of competition and out of the gym for a while, all you have to do is work on this. And so that's only going to make him a better player in time. It just sucks. It's unfortunate, but, it's going to be one of those things that he ends up better in the long run because of it. So just, overall, a lot to be excited about in terms of just kind of Big Ten basketball in general. And I think the Big Ten is doing great things. And a lot of teams like you have the Nebraskas that kind of coming up and being at least a middle tier team, at the very least. So, and something they can consistently be. You got Illinois, Indiana, Purdue battling out the top. And so a lot to be excited about, not only in the football season, but in the basketball season as well. So anything else from you two before we wrap up the show? Sonny, first, anything?
No, not really. Definitely follow all of Burke's work. He'll let you know in a second where to find him. Burke is a rarity in the sense that he's an Indiana basketball fan. I'm an Illinois basketball fan, but I like talking sports with Burke. And that usually is not something I like doing with Indiana Hoosiers fans, but me and him are always having little side conversations here and there. I may not like the team he's rooting for, but I do like him. So,
and everything here is said in jest. Just so nobody take it seriously. We're just joking. But
of course, I always tell everyone the Big Ten show. Those are good people. So
I appreciate that.
We're all right.
Yes, I appreciate that.
No, I can't appreciate you guys enough having me on. It is Burke White, host of the Often Daunted podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts. Video component at a later date once I get a little prettier. But just follow me anywhere at Often Daunted. Again, thank you guys so much.
Of course, man. And thank you for taking the time to come on. We really appreciate it. So with that being said,
anytime, especially when I get to brag like this, man, anytime that I get to hang a banner in the off season, dude, I'm glad to come on. Thank you guys.
Sonny was like, Indiana's killing it this offseason. Let's get him on. And I'm like, all right, I get it. If y'all say so, let's do it. And
now, Indiana Hoosiers fans, now this is your turn. All right. We haven't done an Indiana episode right now. And, the Purdue fans, they show up for those episodes. Let's hear those, comments. Let's get those likes up for this episode.
Yes, please do. Please do, because I'm sure Purdue might show up for this one too.
And more content come from Indiana. Y'all show love, so we know y'all like what we're doing here, and we can bring more content for y'all.
Yes, please do. Please do.
We got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. We cover both football and basketball, so stay tuned and subscribe and leave your thoughts below on what y'all think about the Big Ten, what y'all think about Indiana, and any predictions you have. So with that being said, we will conclude this episode, and we will see y'all next time. Peace out.